I have journeyed through the long dark night, out on the open sea, by faith alone, sight unknown, and yet his eyes are watching me. The anchor holds, though the ship is battered. The anchor holds, though the sails are torn. I have fallen on my knees as I felt the raging sea. The anchor holds in spite of the storm. I've had visions, I've had dreams, I've even held them in my hand, but I never knew they would slip right through like they were only grains of sand. The anchor holds, though the ship is battered. The anchor holds, though the sails are stormed. I have fallen on my knees as I faced the raging sea. The anchor holds in spite of the storm. I have been young, but I am older now. There has been beauty these eyes have seen, but it was in the night, through the storms of my life. Oh, that's where God proved his love to me. The anchor holds, though the ship is battered. The anchor holds, though the sails are torn. I have fallen on my knees as I faced the raging sea. The anchor holds in spite of the storm. I have fallen Thank you, y'all. I really got it. Brother, you might need to turn this mic down a little bit. Seems to be biting. Oh, that's better. Maybe if you can still hear me. So, anyway. Listen, y'all, I'm going to do something different for you today. I'm going to do what I would call a first-person sermon, which means I'm going to try to let you know from the character the sermon today. You'll catch on to it pretty quick. Normally, the times I've done this before, I've tried to come in costume. So you got to put up with me as me. But I think you'll understand in a minute. I'm going to read you this passage from Matthew chapter 8, verses 1 through 4. Then I'm going to take on this character. Preach you this. Matthew 8. When Jesus came down from the mountainside, large crowds followed him. A man with leprosy came and knelt before him and said, Lord, if you are willing, you can make me clean. Jesus reached out his hand and touched the man. I am willing, he said, be clean. Immediately he was cleansed and from his leprosy. Jesus said to him, see that you do not tell anyone, but go show yourselves to the priest and offer the gift Moses commanded as a testimony to them. "5 years. No one, not one person. Wife, not my child, not my friends, no one. They saw me. They spoke to me. I sensed love in their voices. I saw concern in their eyes. No one. There was no touch. No one touched me. What is common to you, I coveted. Handshakes, warm embraces, a tap on the shoulder to get my attention, a kiss on the lips to steal a heart. Some moments were taken, these moments were all taken from my world. What I would have given, bumped into, be caught in a crowd, for my shoulder to brush against another. But for 5 years, it had not happened. How could it? I was not allowed on the streets. Even the rabbis kept their distance from me. I wasn't permitted in the synagogue, not even in my own house. I was untouchable because I was alone. And no one touched me. Now, leprosy was the most dreaded of diseases. If you had it, your whole body became a mass of ulcers, decay. Fingers would gnarl, skin would discolor. You would lose fingers, toes, even a hand or a foot. Leprosy was death by inches. And the social consequences, they were just as bad, if not worse. You were quarantined, banished to a leper colony, the ultimate outcast, rejected by those you know, avoided by the people you did not know, condemned. Life would never be the same. It started one year during summer harvest season. The grip on my hand on the scythe seemed weak. The tips of my fingers became numb. First one finger and then another. In just a short time, I could grip the tool, but I could scarcely feel it. By the end of the season, I felt nothing at all. The hand grasping the handle might as well have been someone else's. feeling gone. I said nothing to my wife. She had to know. I carried my hand against my body. One day I plunged my hands into a basin of water to wash. Water turned. My hand was bleeding and I didn't even know it. Did I cut myself with a knife? Did my hand slide across an old piece of metal? It must have, but I didn't feel it. It's on your clothes too, I said. I looked down and I saw the crimson spots. For the longest time, I stood over the basin staring at my hand. Somehow I knew that my life was forever altered. Shall I go to the priest with you? She asked. No, I said. I'll go. I turned and looked into her moist eyes. Standing next to her was our 3-year-old daughter. Squatting, I gazed into her face and stroked her cheek with my good hand. What could I say? I stood and looked at my wife. She touched my shoulder and I touched hers. It would be my final touch. 5 years of until the priest did not touch me. He looked at my hand, now wrapped in a rag. He looked at my face, now shadowed in fear. I've never faulted him for what he said. He was doing his job. He covered his mouth, extended his hand. With that one statement, I lost my family, my farm, my future. My wife met me at the city gate with a bag of clothes and bread and some coins. Speak. Friends had heard and were gathered. What I saw in their eyes, I've seen in every eye since. Call it wonderful peace. As I stepped out, they stepped back. The horror of my disease, greater than their concern for my heart, so they, like everyone else, stepped back. Now I'm banished. I'm banished to a colony, and you may not have them today, but you still banish people. Think about it. Divorced people know this feeling. So do the handicapped. The unemployed have felt it, and so do unmarried mothers. We keep our distance from depressed people and avoid the terminally ill. We have neighborhoods for immigrants, homes for the elderly, schools for the simple, centers for the addicted, and prisons for criminals. Many in your society today, they understand what it means to be. How repulsed I was. How repulsed I was at those who were around me. 5 years of leprosy had made a mess of me. My hands gnarled, my tips of my fingers missing, as well as parts of my ears and nose. Fathers grabbed their children, mothers covered their faces. Children. Rags on my body, they could not hide my sore. Nor could the wrap on my face hide the rage in my eyes. I didn't even try to hide it. How many nights did I shake my crippled fist at the sky? What did I deserve? What did I do to deserve this? Never. Some said I sinned. Some said my parents had sinned. I don't know. I'm tired of it all. Sleeping in that colony, smelling that stench, and having to wear this damnable bell. Like I needed it. Once glanced at me and the chorus came. Unclean, unclean. Several weeks ago, I decided to walk down the road, see my village. I had no intent of going in. I just wanted to see my home and farm and possibly catch a glimpse of my wife. Well, I did not find her, but I saw children. I hid behind a tree and I watched them scamper and run. Their faces were joyful and their laughter was contagious. For a moment, I was no longer a leper. I was a farmer. I was a father. I was a man. Not thinking, I stepped out from behind the tree. I straightened my back and breathed deeply, and they saw me. Before I could hide, they saw me and screamed, scattered. One lingered. She looked in my direction. I don't know. I can't say for sure, but I thought it might be my daughter. Maybe she was. That, y'all, is what made me do what I did today. Of course it was reckless. Of course it was risky, but what did I have to lose? He calls himself the Son of God. Either he will hear my complaint and kill me, or accept my demands and heal me. I came as a defiant man, moved not by faith, but by a desperate anger. God has brought this on me. He could either fix it or end it. Then I saw him. When I saw him, I was changed. Remember, I'm not a farmer. I'm a farmer, not a poet. I can't find the words to describe what I saw. All I can say is Judean mornings are sometimes fresh. Sunrises so glorious you forget the heat of the day and all the hurt. Y'all, when I saw his face, I saw it. Before he spoke, I knew he cared. Somehow I knew he hated this disease as much. No, he hated this disease more than I did. My rage became trust and my anger became hope. From behind a rock, I watched him descend a hill. Tons of people were following him. I watched till he got close and stepped out. Master, and he stopped and he looked in my direction, as did hundreds of others. A flood of fear swept across the crowd. Arms flew out in front of faces. Children ducked behind their parents. Unclean! Someone shouted. I don't blame them. I looked like death. But I did not care. I had seen their faces. Thousands. His face had compassion. Compassion that I'd never seen. Everyone stepped back. He stepped forward. He stepped toward me. He stepped forward. 5 years ago, my wife had stepped toward me. She was the last one to have done that. He moved, but I did not move. You can heal me if you will. Had he healed me with a word, I would have been thrilled. Had he cured me with a prayer, I would have rejoiced, but he wasn't satisfied. He drew near. Touched me. 5 years ago, my wife touched me. No one has touched me. I will be healed. Energy flooded my body like water through a furrowed field. In an instant, there was warmth where there had been numbness. I felt strength where there had been atrophy. My back straightened, my head lifted. Instead of looking at his belt, I now saw him face glorious, smiling. He cupped my hands on his cheeks, and he drew me so close I could feel the warmth of his breath. Don't tell anyone about this. Go show yourself to Moses and offer the gift. Go show yourself to the priest and offer the gift Moses commanded people who were made well. This will show and that's where I'm going right now. I will show myself to the priest and I will embrace him. Then I will go find my wife and I will embrace her. I will find my daughter and I will pick her up. I will never forget the one who dared. He wanted to do more than just heal me. He wanted to honor me. Imagine that. Unworthy of the touch of a man, but worthy of the touch of God. Think about it today, church. The power of a godly touch. Don't you know it? The doctor who treated you, the teacher who dried your tears. Was there a hand holding yours at a funeral? A pastoral prayer? Know the feeling. Can we offer it to others? Close with it. So many times we're afraid we will do. So rather than do it wrong, we do nothing at all. Listen, aren't you glad you never thought? Please keep in mind the perspective of the lepers, and immigrants, of sinners. They are not picky. They're not finicky. They're just lonely. They yearn. I ask you today, Jesus touched the untouchables of the world. The question is today, church. As we close, we offer an invitation. It may be that you've never given your life to Christ, and we'd love to share with you what it means to repent of your sin. Confess him as your Lord and Savior. It may be that you need a church home, and may be the Lord knows. I've been here a number of times, and I like it. Who knows? I may end up getting a chance to come. Maybe you just need to pray with somebody about something. We can do that publicly. We can do that privately. Do whatever you need. This morning, as we close, we're going to an invitation. I believe it's 309, 308. I've been wrong twice today. So higher ground. Well, good. Well, let's stand and sing together. And if you'd like to come, please come forward today. 308.